Welcome everyone on the next episode of our BIM for manufacturers and designers series, where we're, as usual, covering different aspects of management of BIM libraries. If you are not familiar with our webinar series, I definitely recommend you to check our website BIMStreamer.com, where under the events section you can find the recording from the previous episode and also see what's are upcoming in the next weeks or months when it comes to the webinar series. And for those of you that haven't had the chance to visit our last episode covering the topic of the data pools, you can already check the recording at BIMStreamer.com. But let's get back to our today's event, where we were covering different aspects of information management within the BIM libraries. And I would like to introduce our first guest, who is the head of the BIM Manager at Geze GmbH. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Olaf Thies. Hello, Olaf.
Hi, hello, good morning, or good afternoon, good noon.
And as usual, our theoretical part that will be covered by Olaf will be later on presented in a form of the live demo that was prepared by project manager of BIMStreamer, Mr. Adam Końca. Hello, Adam.
Hello, good morning to everyone.
And getting back to our agenda, on this day, we will talk about the information inside the BIM library. We will talk about different levels of information, what kind of information the libraries might contain, and why it might be pretty dynamic depending on who and when is trying to utilize this BIM libraries. Of course, at the very end, we will present the live example of the information management within the BIM libraries. And starting as usual with the quote, I would like to quote the William Pollard, the British quirk, that says that the information is the source of learning. But the other part of the quote is that the information needs to be well structured. Otherwise, it might be more like a burden than just a benefit. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Olaf Thies from Geze GmbH will tell you how to manage the information so that it won't be a burden. It won't be a burden, but a real benefit. Olaf, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Martin, for having me today. Well, first of all, I introduce myself a bit. I'm from Germany, and I'm working for for Geze, and Geze is all about doors. So, well, please, sorry for just keeping on our products and telling about how to manage door planning. So this is my task, and I'm an architect, so I should know something about BIM. And I'm not just working for Geze. I'm a lecturer at the RWHTH Aachen in Germany. So maybe you know something about the building smart. I'm working at the chair of Professor Jakob Beetz. And so these two jobs of mine, they combine very, very well when we come to planning software. So I, as an architect, I've got this with my with the whole the whole day long. So I start planning and don't know what to do first. But I keep on planning, and I just fill informations, and at the end I know that I forgot something right from the start. So this is always the problem with planning with BIM in the first place. We have to take our builders with us. We have to take the whole team with us. And the topic today is about LOD, and I would say it's it shouldn't be about LOD, it should be about LOIN, the level of information needed. And what's the difference? So here we have some examples for you. So what's LOD? What does it mean? And what's the difference between LOD and LOIN? Are there any standards? In Germany, well, I was asked from all sides, are there any standards? Are there any guidelines we can use to have these things done in our way? But we have some standards that are really on our way to get things done properly. And do not forget anything. You remember the first slide with these guy who forgets something. So what is it about? We start with the old level of detail or level of development. LOD stands for, in my opinion, level of detail. And sorry, I was working at the Building Smart door group in Germany, and we created a door schedule. We created a set of parameters. That's not the IFC parameters for doors, but that's a set of parameters we thought would combine everything to really be able of planning a door. And we started with a door schedule of around about 120 parameters. So we thought it would be okay. We ended, don't be afraid, we ended with around about 5,000 parameters. But these 5,000 parameters, they are really showing every screw on every door. So what's the thing we really need? And then it comes to the LOD, the level of development or the level of detail. We shrinked these we shrunk these set of parameters to roughly about 187 parameters. These 187 parameters, they can be found in the Building Smart door schedule or door list, whatever you might call it. And we were talking about, we were factorers or producers of doors, and we were architects, and we combined it and talked, what do we really need in LOD 100? So we found about roughly 16 parameters to have it to get into these doors, and with 16 parameters it will be around about LOD 100. And with LOD 400 we had then these 187 parameters. So you're not forced to really use these 187 parameters all the time. Maybe you're planning a kindergarten or you're planning a hospital. Then these parameters might differ. I hope you really do not need any radiation parameters in the kindergarten, but you will surely need them in a hospital. So these 187 parameters in LOD 400, they are the, let's say, maximum of parameters you will find. But now we have something that's too much. It's kind of too much information. What's really useful for my kind of planning, for my project I'm working on? So we have to sort of combine these things, and we have to find a way to, in the first place, create a set of parameters that will suit my project. So maybe you can take these 187 parameters, or you can create COBie, things you need for facility management afterwards in the not after the building process, in the facility management. And all these things are combined in the word LOIN, level of information needed. Maybe you are working for a discounter. Let's call it Aldi, Lidl, whatsoever. They all have their set of parameters they use every day. So you have the builder, and with this builder, you can talk in the first place beforehand. What kind of parameters in door planning, in this case, do you really need? So now we can talk about what's the correct timing. When is the point of time to have these parameters fixed? Who tells me what I need? Are there guidelines to have the correct set of parameters for my project? And these are the questions I would like to hopefully answer when we're talking about doors or planning doors. So first of all, I'm not just working with the Building Smart in Germany. We are some kind of sworn-in group when it comes to doors, and I really like to work with these guys together. And we are working in an independent way. Now we are creating guidelines for the VDI in Germany, and this I can show you. So this is the first sketch of the guidelines of door planning in Germany. You can see this is a swim lane diagram. And with this swim lane diagram, you have all the people that are connected with this project. And it is not just the architect or the BIM manager. It is the builder. It is a specialist in door planning. And all these people, they are connected by this huge project. And if you see the columns there, then you can you can't see it because it's too small. But we have not taken LOD as parts of our phases of the planning. We have LOIN, and now this is the difference. We are able to start with a builder to create parameter sets we use in every phase of this planning, and it's LOIN of sketching. You can use it in your country with your way of planning, with your way of building. It is different in every country. So, but we are very open with this kind of planning, because it is not this type of you have to work this way. Well, the kindergarten is planned in another way than the hospital. So here's the possibility to create your parameter set in every different phase here. And you can always keep one step up. It is not just having rigid or strict structures. You can say, well, if I know this parameter, it leads to another. So if you know how to plan doors, you know that there are some people involved that have maybe funny ideas, that say, well, I want to have it that way. So keep all these guys in one team and start planning doors, not when the building is already in construction. Start planning doors right from the start. and keep these guys together, keep these parameters in one in one place, and let's say add them to another. So think of searching for parameters. We have made this this decision at Geze, let's say 7 years ago. We thought about what is it for us as a producer of door hardware? What is it to have the correct things in our doors? We make sliding doors, we make revolving doors. What's the correct set of parameters we use them? And we came to the conclusion that there is data we use every time, there is data we use sometimes. So if you are looking by a looking glass and you say, well, this might be needed sometimes later, we created a whole parameter set, and I'm very thankful for the help of BIMStreamer to have this whole parameter set put into all these doors. You will see this later on in the video. So after we thought about what kind of parameters do we need, then we have to keep in mind that BIM is, sorry. We'll have to keep in mind that BIM is all about data. And in a way, it is very simple. If you look at these Lego tiles, you can see, well, on the left side, this is the way we are planning right now. We have just some drawings, and many people think that BIM is all about 3D planning. And just yesterday, I had an architect who wanted some IFC data from us for a revolving door. I said, well, why do you need IFC data? Well, I want to put it into my model to make it look nice. But I said, well, the IFC is not, you're not able to change it, to parameterize these things. And he said, well, now I know I can download IFC data. Well, I gave it to him, and he said, well, funny, I can't change anything inside. And that's the thing we need to know. BIM is about parameters, it's about data, and it's nice to have 3D, but it's not the first thing we are thinking of. BIM is about data, about parameters, and that's the I in BIM. It's building information modeling. Building model is 3D planning. It's okay, but the information inside, that's the crucial part. And now we thought about, as a producer of door hardware, how can we keep, how can we put all these parameters into our door? And we have to start with a planning. We do not have to start by the product. We have to start how does the architect, how does the planner work? And that's the thing. I know many producers of door hardware or of hardware in the first place. They love their products. Of course they do. They fill in every screw, every fitting, everything into their doors. But does the architect really needs this? No. If we come to look at a door, then we find this very, very complicated thing of doors, of hardware that must fit together, of hardware that is working together. Maybe this hardware does not come from Geze. Maybe there are some products we do not produce, and we'll have to take this information from another producer, and they have to work together as well. Maybe we have some hardware that's working with 230 volts, maybe have some hardware that's working with 24 volts. So all these things are are not, or the planner might not be able to put all these things in fitting parameters. We have to think one step further on. What's the thing that leads to all these correct door hardware? And then we start planning by thinking about bibliotheques, libraries of doors, but this is just one step afterwards. We can give you these libraries, of course. We can give you some doors that you can parameterize. You can fill in your parameters. You can make them larger, smaller, the way you want. We can anonymize these things. So this is not a Geze door. This is just some door, some steel door, some wooden door, with a special frame, for example. And there is no name of any producer inside. This is very, very important if you come to hardware scheduling, hardware listing in Europe, when you have the guideline to not show any names of companies. So of course we can give it to you, but what's the thing we have to think about first? It is standards. It is about things that tells us the laws of the country. So if we're talking about barrier-free things, might differ from Germany to Austria to Luxembourg and so on. But there are laws, certain laws about barrier-free planning. There are certainly laws about fireproof doors. So how are we able to put all these information into one door? It's not a parameter sometimes. It's just kind of part of the law we have to combine with another part. So how is a barrier-free door working as a fireproof door? A fireproof door needs a spring, needs some door closer, and in some time it is quite difficult to open a door with a door closer. So how can these things work together? They combine. Sometimes they condition each other. Sometimes they say, well, if you're using an RWA door that's got to be open in case of fire, then you can't use it as a fireproof door that must close in a fire. So all these things we have to think about first before searching for any hardware. And this is the possibility. This is some kind of filtering parameters before putting it together into one complex product. And
we have a first question from the audience, so maybe I will speak it loud because it somehow refers to the topic that you're covering.
Of course. Yes.
So the question states, at which point of time will the engineer determine the supplier or specific product item, as it starts with the generics?
A very, very good question. And the answer is at the earliest moment when it comes to a complicated product. I can't say the exact moment. I could say it in Germany, it's in Leistungsphase 6. But I don't know how it's done in Poland, how it's done in Austria. So I prefer to, especially in these complex things, to have these things done as early as even possible. Because all our, not our expectation, but the experience we have is the later on, the more problems, and especially the more problems by fitting all these things together. You have the time. I will show you two slides further on. I will show you. This is the reason why we should build our project at first in the computer, and then when it works in the computer, and then we can produce a twin in the real world. So all these things, all these laws, we have to combine in the early stage in the computer and not on the building site. If you're trying to use it, if you're trying to build it on the building site, I will, from my experience, I would say at least in 10% of all these doors, it will lead to failures. At least 10%. Please keep that in mind. And this is these are costs. And when we come to complicated doors, it can easily be around about, let's say, 30,000 euros that are just gone, just because you didn't plan early enough. Just you stuck to some LODs and didn't know how to really define all these all this information you really need. And well, of course, we can give you these pretty pictures. Of course, we can give you revolving doors that look very nice, but better is to have the data in the first place or in an earlier stage to really use this thing. This is the cave at our university in Aachen. I really love to go there, and if you are able to visit a cave, really such a BIM cave in this case, then please do so. Here we can talk about the digital twin in at the university. So we can really look at all these doors. We can look at all fittings. We can look at all things that are inside. And we make the mistakes in the cave, in the computer. We do not make the mistakes on the building site. And remember what I told you 2 minutes ago, it may be 30,000 euros just for one door. These are huge costs. And besides, it's time. You know, time is money. And these, you lose time, huge amounts of time. So please make these failures, make these mistakes right in front of the planning, make these mistakes before you go to the building sites. And now you might understand what's the difference of LOD, the level of detail or level of development, and the LOIN, the level of information needed. Because in this case, these pictures, you are standing inside the object, and there the questions come to you, and you know, well, I did not think about the height of my door, and maybe it is getting too heavy for the door drive, so we must think about something else. So these things you will notice with data. You'll notice by parameters. Maybe you haven't looked at an IFC data before. Please do so. Please produce some IFC data with your CAD program and open it with a text edit program. So here you can see that all things are openly available in your BIM model, in your BIM, in your parameters, in your parameter data. So what you can see here is just a small thing that is put out from an IFC data. And here I hope you can see this is project Geze 01. And this is data that is inside your IFC project, and everybody is able to combine it, to control it, and to get the data beforehand, before you start to make mistakes on the building site. So what we can do for you is we can plan doors for you. We can make the BIM door planning for you. We were doing this for about 2 years now, and we will create doors, not just door schedules. We will create paperwork for the doors. You can see here, it's not just the pretty pictures. It's not just a plan. It is a whole planning of the door with all information inside. And one thing is very, very important. It is the door description. It is not just parameters. You can fill in a door's description in your BIM object, in your BIM door, and there it shows how the builder wants this, or how the user wants this door to function. And with all these combined data, we are able to plan a door and work together and switch all the information between us to broaden our horizon, our planning horizon, and not be in trouble with the time. So I hope I was able to show you now how we think about parameters, how we think about LOD as a, let's say, nice to have, but in our opinion, and in the opinion of the dean, of all the people who create guidelines, that it is better to use your channels, your parameter set, and not rely on, well, I have LOD 200 and this is okay for me. Look closer. Look really inside the things you need. Your planning process do tell you, your builder do tell you, and your BIM manager might tell you as well. So now this is my part. I hope you have an idea of we as a door hardware producer think about these parameters, think about how we are able to support you of working together, and not just say, well, there we have our door hardware, eat it. Yeah, so get your parameters. We do not provide you with more parameters. We are now able, with the help of BIMStreamer, to create your door. We can create your parameter sets, and we are able to help you in a very, very early stage of planning. So
Olaf,
this was my part. Thank you. Are there any questions?
you're not done yet, because we still have several questions to answer.
Great.
So I will start with the first one. How you would use LOD per stage if you specify all parameters at the early stage? I think that this question refers to the topic that where you stress that it's better to know the exact manufacturers sooner than better. Maybe that's why this question was somehow raised.
Yes, I know it is a very, very hard question, but I know that if you are working together, and this is all about BIM planning, if you are working together at an early stage, you are able to keep in touch or to get in touch with the producers, with the door producers, and we really love to work together in this early stage, because often we are called in a stage that is too late, and then we are just keeping like juggling some problems. But there won't be any problems if you are able to tell the producer in an early stage. So I know this is I don't know from which country you're coming. It differs from country to country when you are able, or when are you able to really tell what kind of producer you're planning with. So sorry, I know it's not that clear that you wished to be it clear, but yeah.
We have another question, and maybe I will just simplify it a bit. The question states, what's the connection between the level of information needed and other standard like ISO standard, like data templates 23387, 23386, and so on and so forth. So how we could apply level of information needed with the standards like ISO, IFC, and so on. I think that we will partially cover that within the demo presentation, but maybe
Yes.
if you could actually put more light on that question as well.
So yes, I would say that that all these ISO stuff and all these regulations come from ISO, from DIN, from VDI, from Building Smart. They are some kind of skeleton you can refer to, but maybe you have some questions from the user, from the builder, from wherever, and you find, or you can't find these parameters inside the ISO stuff, inside some guidelines, but that's not the problem. IFC, especially from IFC 4.0, you are able to create your parameter set, and really watch the next video. This is a great example for things you can combine. You can combine the COBie standards with LOD 100 and some VDI stuff and Building Smart stuff. So really, this is the thing. You have it in your hand. What kind of parameters, what kind of parameter set you are using. And this is the great thing, the great difference between these rigid LOD things and the LOIN things.
And that's the reason why you are not able to see Olaf if you wanted to see some nice movie, because he is doing lots of spoilers. So I will right now hand over the floor to Adam to actually present the demo that Olaf has already described. Adam, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. So maybe before we will show the movie, I will describe a little bit what will happen in the background. So for our BIM content management platform today, we are going to take the revolving doors as a master model. As Olaf said, Geze is all about the doors, so we couldn't use anything else. And yeah, the revolving doors looks very nice. According to the data, they were provided within Excel file and grouped in several groups, LOI 100, 200, 400, IFC, Uniclass, COBie. And there is possibility to, of course, to provide much more groups or classifications. According to the Excel, it's all about the tags that the the attribute will be marked with.
Adam, does it have to be Excel or it can be any other system?
No, this is just the example for the demo. BIMStreamer can be integrated with any other source of data. It might be BIM system, database, actually anything that we can integrate with. Today, as usual, we will show you the regular data injection that we are supporting within BIMStreamer. So all the defined attributes will be injected into the master model and published to the online library where the files are available for the end users. However, as Olaf said, maybe the user don't want to use all 5,000 attributes within this BIM file. That's why we have created and provided the configurator module. With this configurator, the user can define what kind of attributes he's interested in. In the first case, we are going to generate the Revit file based in English version and with LOI 200 attributes. The configuration within Excel file is prepared like this, that LOI 200 contain also the LOI 100 attributes. In the second case, we are going to generate a Revit file in German version as anonymized one, so there will be no information about the manufacturer, and the selected group of attributes will be IFC, COBie, and Uniclass. You should consider it just as simple examples, because actually within the configurator everything is possible. So this is not only about injection of the attributes, but within the configurator you can fully support nested families within the models, from simple replacing nested families, adding or removing them, to building advanced custom models. You should consider it also as a standalone module, which can work completely separately from the BIMStreamer. So, too far away. Can we get back? Yeah, thanks, Marcin. So within our example, the configurator has been integrated with BIMStreamer online library. It can be also integrated with Revit plugin, mobile application, but also with your own web page, or set as completely separate web page for you. We can now we can go to the movie. Let's start it. Yes, here you can see that we have added a lot of attributes into Excel file. They were grouped and tagged with special LOI. Now within BIMStreamer, we are going to synchronize the family. So at that moment, we are injecting all of the defined attributes into the master model. After a while, we are going to accept it and publish to the online library. On the online library, we are going to go to the product details and run the configurator. First one will be in German version. We will select LOI 200. At this time, the file is generated on the fly. Now we switch to the German version, and we are going to ask for the Revit file with IFC, COBie, and Uniclass attributes as anonymized version. In a moment, we will show you the attributes within Revit file. Here's the version with LOI 100 and 200. Here are these attributes. And you can see there is a lot of Geze manufacturer information. And the second one, which is anonymized, so you can't find here any information about the manufacturer. You can see the anonymized information and injected IFC, Uniclass, and COBie attributes. Thank you. Marcin, you are muted. We can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Adam, for preparation of the demo. So, Adam, tell me just a quick referral. So, the anonymized version is the version which contains no concrete Geze information and can be used, for instance, for public tenders, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay. So, basing on how we can anonymize the content, because I think that it's pretty clear that when it comes to level of information needed, we just need to group the attributes. The attributes can belong to more than one group. So in that case, attributes for LOI 200 will also be a part of the LOI, let's say, or vice versa. LOI 100 will also be a part of LOI 200. But what about the anonymization? How the anonymization works?
Yeah, anonymization, it's also all about the data. So we need to define the anonymized attributes. And there are two options. We can prepare the bunch of attributes which are anonymized, and when we are generating the anonymized version, we are not injected the real Geze parameters, but the anonymized ones, which contains the anonymized information. Or the second option is that we can define the library of keywords that should be replaced with some anonymized options.
So who in general defines how to anonymize the products?
The owner of the data. So in this example, Geze.
Okay. So next question is that is this applicable only on Geze products? So I think that the simple answer is no. It's more like applicable for everyone that is prepared to have it, to prepare the LOI, dynamic LOI, and anonymization. So of course Geze is already doing that, and if other manufacturer also follows that step, then this would be also available for other manufacturers as well. Taking the occasion, I would also like to invite you for the next episode of our BIM for Manufacturer series, where we will cover slightly different topic, which is very much related with BIM library marketing and in general distribution of the BIM libraries while controlling them, managing them centrally. And we will cover the topic which is called the BIM omnichannel. So I definitely recommend you to check that out. I'm sending you over the link in the chat window. So if you would like to participate in the next episode of our webinar series, just click the link, register, and hope to see you on the next episode. Now is the last chance if you have any questions to our guests, to Olaf, to Adam, referring both the level of information needed, the Geze products, the BIMStreamer platforms, and anything which might be related with the subject of today's webinar. Okay, so there is a first question. I think maybe Olaf, since you are the lecturer at Aachen University, this will be handed over to you. Do you recommend any courses to enter this discipline as a fresh graduate? So who should, if you're a graduate and you would like to, let's say, be proficient in level of information needed in BIM content, what would you recommend?
I would I would recommend to look for courses that are called BIM Professional. There are some programs that well, I can speak for Germany. There are some programs from the Building Smart that are that you can get a certification for this BIM Professional thing. Well, my first thing would be to look at the Building Smart website of your country to look about certificates you can gain, and maybe look at well, I think the title BIM Professional is a good one, and you will find some things, but please keep in mind that there has to be a certificate afterwards. In other cases, you are not able to really tell, well, I am a BIM professional, and you just spend some money. So let there be a thing that is ending really with a certificate. And if you're studying in Germany, I would recommend some universities that are well, I can speak for Aachen. We are I'm a lecturer at the master's program. I'm not a bachelor, but master. But you can join some university stuff afterwards. So look at the universities to have some courses. I know it's at the Ruhr-Universität Bochum, the Ruhr University Bochum. It's in Karlsruhe. It's at the LUM in Munich, and as I remember, in Weimar. So there are some universities, and Jade Universität Oldenburg. There are some universities that are really great in thinking of BIM, and they have got great lecturers as well, and they can show you and they can give you the certificates to have you really made fit in BIM.
Yeah, from the Polish perspective, I can also recommend Poznań University and Silesian universities. These are the universities that already collaborating together with BIMStreamer as part of the educational program, where the students are able of working with BIM content management using the BIMStreamer platform for the educational purposes. So for Polish universities, I definitely can recommend these two universities. We have another question. So are there any LOIN parameters that the industry can easily adopt?
Of course we can. This is all about all about BIMStreamer. So I really love this question. Thank you very much. So give us your parameters you need, and we can put them inside our doors. So this is all about, yes, it's all about data, and this is exactly what we are doing for you, and what you can find at BIMStreamers. Yes, thank you.
How relevant are the static IFC downloadables, as they cannot be adjusted or could contain outdated information, as you mentioned?
Keep in mind that some planning processes are lasting about 5, 6, 7, 10, sometimes 20 years. So of course, if you're using static BIM objects, they will be outdated in these time spans. But with a good BIM management, and I think you get the idea, the BIM management should start really early. It's not that you have a sketch or you have some drawings, and Sometimes in the end you say, well, now let's start with BIM. This is way too late, way too late. So BIM is all about the whole planning process, and it should start with a builder, with a building owner, and he should sit together with a BIM manager and the architect, and then they can say, well, what kind of information do we need? When do we need it? What's the way of planning? What's the way of or what's the amount of information we need? So I can speak for Germany. The amount of really BIM planning has risen in the last 2 years of about 20%. I talk about really BIM and not just, well, we make some 3D things. We're now in Germany at about, let's say, 25 to 30%. But I'm very, very certain that the amount will rise in the next 5 years up to a level of 70 to 80%, because they get it. The builder gets it, that they can save money, especially in these times, in these hard times where it's hard to get some constructors, and things in the first place. You're not surprised at the building site, and this management tool you can call BIM process, BIM management tool, is if the whole team is thinking BIM, then all these uncertainties you have in the normal planning process are gone, and that's in my opinion the greatest advantage you have with BIM. You are not frightened to build, and because you know everything that could go wrong.
Okay, another question. We still have 3 minutes to go. So LOD 400, how does it, let's say, refer to the fabrication? Is it somehow related?
Yes. We are, let's say, our products, if we want to, we can do LOD 1000, for example. We know every screw, we know every radius, every millimeter, every tenth of a millimeter, but it's not useful for planning. It's not useful for the architect. What do you need? You need a door closer, and you need the information that this door closer can be put on a fireproof door. You do not need all the millimeters. That's not relevant for you. So I think LOD 400 is a nice thing that should be kind of standard. So yes, of course we can give you LOD 400. So this is the skeleton. Let's say the skeleton we have. But you can put Kobe things on top of it, and that's exactly what BIMStreamer is doing here.
Okay, last question. So I think that I would be able to answer. Oh no, we have another one. Okay, so the almost last question. So the online materials as a resource to learn. So at the very end of the slide, you will be able to see my email address. So for all of you that will send me an email, I will send you over the slide deck from today's webinar. And within 4 weeks from now, we will have the recording from this event also available. So if you registered, then you will be notified about this for sure. And the last question, I think that this is really the last question because we're almost behind the schedule. Is already available any samples of level of information needed timeline standard for windows, doors, or facades? If I well understood, for each one will be another standard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's correct. The VDI guideline 2552 page 11.7 will be available in Germany, I'd say in autumn. Let's say autumn. So we are almost finished with this guideline, and I think it will be available in autumn for doors. So there you have your possible guideline, and you get it. We are working very, very hard every day to give you these guidelines. But in my opinion, do not wait for this. Ask yourself, ask the architect, ask some door manufacturers what is useful for planning. This is the LOIN. Think of what is needed, what is really needed to get a door running, to get an automatic door running, and talk to us. Geze Poland has got some very good guys there, and that's the way to get your information you need, and not what's in the guidelines.
Okay, guys, I think that would be something like a wrap up of everything. So if someone would like to see the slide deck from today's presentation, just take the screenshot of this slide and write me an email. I will send it over immediately after the event. And I, of course, invite you to visit our next episode of the BIM for Manufacturers and Wholesalers series, where we will cover the BIM Omni-channel content distribution. I would like to thank you, our guest. Thank you, Olaf. Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And I would also like to thank all of our attendees, and see you on the next episode. Bye.
So then, bye.